I'm Kaylee, and this is the Jane Austen Heroines book tag. This tag was created by In Search of Wonder, and I was tagged by Beautiful Minutia. Now, last year, or maybe a couple of years ago, I don't remember when, I did the Jane Austen Heroes tag. So now I'm excited to get into the Jane Austen Heroines tag. The first prompt is Lizzie, a book that made you laugh. For this one, I'm going to say Sorcery and Cecilia, or The Enchanted Chocolate Pot, by Patricia C. Reed. This is about two friends who write letters back and forth to each other about all the weird and wacky and wild magical things that are happening to them. So it's told in an epistolary style, and it is absolutely witty and delightful. Number two is Jane, a book with a satisfying ending. For this, I chose Summers at Castle Auburn by Sharon Shin. This is about the illegitimate daughter of a king, and she goes to visit the palace every summer in order to be educated. But the more she gets to know about the politics within the court, the more she realizes that things are not okay at Castle Auburn. She realizes that a lot of the elfin servants in the castle have actually been kidnapped and are being held there as slaves. But she just never realized before because she's a kid, and you know, when you're a kid, you don't think about things. So there are a lot of different plot threads that are all kind of weaving together, and it all comes together so satisfying in the end. Number three is Eleanor, a book that made you think. For this, I chose Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained by John Milton. It's been a few years, quite a while, since I've read any Milton, but I still think about Paradise Lost. There are certain passages that just really stick with you and really make you think differently about the classic conflict between good and evil in the world. Number four is Marianne, a book that made you feel. For this, I have The Maze in the Heart of the Castle by Dorothy Gilman. This book explores a boy's grief at the death of his parents, and he goes on this journey through the maze and meets different people who represent different concepts, and he has different experiences that kind of relate to certain ideas surrounding grief. And through this allegorical journey, he finds healing and finds strength within his own heart. It's really, really emotional and absolutely beautiful. Number five is Emma, a book you want everyone to read. Well, I mean, obviously I have to say the Bible. You know, if you're ever going to read any book in your whole life, it ought to be the Bible. But I feel like the Bible is kind of a given, and so I am going to choose another one for this prompt. And I feel like if there's any other book in the world that you can set up to be in a prompt next to the Bible, it would probably be Shakespeare. And my favorite Shakespeare is Much Ado About Nothing. It is hilarious. It is so fabulous. There are so many great characters and crazy plot twists. So there you go. If there's anything that you should read, it's the Bible and Shakespeare. Number six is Catherine, a book that gave you goosebumps. For this, I'm going to say two collections of short stories by George MacDonald, The Golden Key and The Grey Wolf. The Grey Wolf especially is a collection of short stories that kind of have more creepy themes. You get more of the ghosts and the goblins and the monsters and stuff in those stories. But The Golden Key has some short stories that are also kind of creepy and magical. Now, I'm a big scaredy cat, so I can't stand anything that's too scary, but these are just pleasantly creepy. They give you those lovely goosebumps. Number seven is Fanny, a book you love that doesn't get enough notice. For this, I'm going to say Arsène Lupin, Gentleman Thief by Maurice Leblanc. What's really fun about the Arsène Lupin stories is that he actually meets Sherlock Holmes. So Lupin is a gentleman thief, very witty, very clever. He always gets away with it. Somehow he escapes from the police, usually just through his sheer audacity. And in one of these stories, he actually faces off against Sherlock Holmes, and it is completely delightful. Number eight is Anne, a book you read a long time ago and loved, but you're not sure how you feel about it now. I think I'm gonna choose A Wizard of Earthsea. Goodreads tells me that the last time I read this was in 2012, so I mean, that's 13 years ago. That is a good long while. And I've always considered this to be one of my favorite fantasy books. It's just so utterly original. Nobody has a writing style like Ursula Le Guin. And I feel like this was a book that kind of opened my eyes to the type of scope that fantasy could really encompass. But it's been 13 years, and so I'm kind of like, oh, if I reread it today, would it still be such a favorite? I don't know. I feel like it would. I feel like Wizard of Earthsea is one of those that would stand up to the test of time and would wear well through multiple rereads. So maybe it's time for a reread. Maybe it's time to put it to the test and see if I still love it as much as I did back then. I'm sure that I would still love it, but would I still love it as much? Number 9 is Lady Susan, a villain you love or love to hate. For this, I'm going to say The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. There are just so many good villains in The Count of Monte Cristo. And in some instances, the Count himself could also be considered to be a villain. I mean, he's no angel, But there are just so many good villains that you can really sink your teeth into in this book. And number 10 is to tag some people. So I'm going to reach back here to our BookTuber shout-out book. And we're going to tag some people. And it looks like there's only 3 left, so we're gonna tag these last 3 people in our BookTuber shout-out book. I tagged Chatty, the Mad Chatter. I tagged the Reading Nymph and Sarah at Your True Shelf. And of course, I tag anybody that wants to do this tag. You don't have to wait to be tagged. Just go right ahead and answer the questions. Or if you want to, you could just answer the questions in a comment and just let us know what would you have answered or what books would you recommend for some of these prompts. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.